Hello, this is Gerald, Johan van Waas. Here is the next video of the theoretical demonstration how quickly we could actually recognize letters and its position in space. Theory! Can't you just demonstrate things? The theory is not really that difficult if it's expressed, if it's explained well. So I hope I will do that in this video. What is playing along in the background is a theory where you have to have at least a minimum of understanding what it is, and I try to keep it as simple as possible. And the order of letters is a numerical order, which is a practical order, and everything that is in reality, we know it follows also numerical orders. It has no other way. And accidentally, it is very practical to use this order. There are three main focuses that you have to remember. The main focus, what we try to achieve, what we prefer, is the physical reality of the space before us as a steady reality where we all have the elements readily available, and that we can start from there and use a logic that we decide what we do with it and how we can make a logic with it. That's the ideal world for a lot of people. Because it seems to be that ideal world. Is it the ideal world? It is ideal to start from something which is physical. Yes, it is really very practical to do so. It's a starting point. It's better to start from a starting point which is a starting point, so which is physically available. So these are all the steady places, orientations in space. So was it really that difficult, these 9 letters? No, the most simple thing to see that is when it's most clearly before your eyes. You have a space, that's the A, in which there is an object, that's the T, in which there is a confined place in which you can work, and that's defined by K. So that's actually our starting point. If it's in the space, but not before your eyes in your center, but in a different center, it's done the same thing with U, L, and B. It's in a different center. Something is there. It has a form. But because it's already somewhere else, it is a bit already outside our center point of vision. It will also, of course, be involved in time, sometime or another, and there will be communications and there will be changes and so on. We're not dealing with that when we're using these letters. They are the center points of our attention, and in our communication we will do more with it afterwards, but that's the starting point, still in the physical, with the physical reference. And really at the border of what we can handle, of that we see, this has a steady point in space. They are the C, the M, and the X. The C, the space, which is already at the edge, which is already a generalization of order, not your order, not mine order, some order, the order. So we use it to make an order. The M is at the you can't grow further than that. It's growing vertically. It's at the edges, and X is really at the edges of what we can frame within our understanding. It's already going somewhere else. This going somewhere else is the time frame. So we also have then our next frame, the time frame, and that's we're going to go to explain which center points we can have there, and we explain as simple as possible. There are the starting points of the realization that there is a time frame with D, N, and Y. D is a realization that something is involved in time. So we have still a starting point, our starting point, and we use it. We use it in a time frame. So we use it to or sometimes we can only find it within a time frame or within a certain point in time and so on. That's the kind of thinking that you have. The N is then not the frame, but it's then the object in it, and the Y is the goal that you have there, the goal into the time frame. So you give something a time frame, you say, okay, up until here, and then I can use it within that time frame. I can orientate myself upon it. I will give examples afterwards. But how do you compare then actually with space? It's actually the same thing. The starting point in space was about my space, and the A, T, and K were my spatial orientations. D, N, and Y are also my orientations, but they are my time frame orientations. That's what I use there. So when I use the D, I use it to frame, to say, okay, I will use this for a certain time, and I will use it at a certain time, and Y is I will use it towards a certain time timing. But of course, the same thing as with the spaces. So they are not just your time frames; they are also someone else's time frames. So if there is a communication between people, some things are at a different place, but also in a different time or in a different timing. And these next three letters or four letters are actually about the time frames that are in continuation outside yourself, and you don't see the reference yet, but they are in a changeable position. So the E, the O, the Z, and the W. The Z is going back inwards, the W is going outwards, but they are the time frames outside yourself. So if you have something, you have a time frame, and you say, okay, I have a reference here. This reference is not in my space. It's not in someone else's space. It's not within my time frame, but it is within a time frame. It's somewhere in a time frame from someone else, so I deal with it that there are differences. If we would compare it with an object, it is something that has evolved further in time, and that's how we deal with it. So there is a time frame involved, that something is not just steadily in space as a form in a center and so on. No, it has more centers, and it is because it was involved in some time frame. So we don't know yet. We will have to find out. And the last couple of letters, the G, F, and P, are about the last category, where I put a little bit of distance from my time frames, and I said, okay, but how do I give an order to time frames in general, to the time frame? We'll give examples later. You have then the G, F, and P, and the P. The G is then, for instance, the focus. There's a general focus of time, or so on, that you say, okay, I have some time. With the G, let's make a focus in that time frame. Or F, I will take something out of my within the time frame. Or P, I will conclude something from the time frame into the general context, because it's already evolving now, not like the last time with the X to someone else's time in another time frame. Here it's to some general context. It evolves to a general context at the point of P. I know it is a bit of theory, but it's good to remember where the positions are. They are in space or in time. And when you know these things and you associate these things, it will become more easy to understand how these orientations exist and how we deal with them, and how we deal with them in combined words, and how it is dealt with them in that way. But before realizing it more quickly, so this is very quickly, you have it really in almost like in a three-dimensional space in space and a three-dimensional space with time. So that will be helpful that you immediately can see, oh, where am I? Okay, it's there, it's there. So then you can conclude combinations of letters a bit more quickly, what they really are underlying as a structure, as a foundation, and so on. Why it works, that's of course not what I was explaining in this video, but there is reasoning of why it should work like that. There are geometrical foundations around it, there are dimensions underneath it that makes it work in this, already 2 times 3 dimensions with a different order each time. And there will come more complexity to it with the third frame, but it shouldn't be too difficult if it's explained well. So, and that's, I hope I will do in the next video for the last frame, and then I will give some examples. Anyhow, this was Gerald Van again. I hope you enjoyed this one. There's a demonstrated list of words that you can find at that short URL. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like. Thanks for watching. Bye.